Hi, I'm Elizabeth Leister, and my project is titled Beatrice. It's a room scale augmented reality experience and installation that includes volumetric filmmaking, voice and gesture interaction, video mapping, sculpture, and scent. It is in early development, and I am the creator of the project. I've been working with 360 video for the past several years, and this fall finished an interactive VR project titled All Her Bodies. It's being submitted to festivals currently, and it also utilized volumetric filmmaking. Beatrice originated from two distinct places that came together conceptually. Just an hour north of Los Angeles, where I'm based, you enter a large agricultural area where you see miles of fields and workers picking fruits and vegetables. Generally, these workers are covered from head to toe to protect themselves from the deadly pesticides on the plants and in the air, and it's not uncommon to see children working the fields. Generally, they're not allowed to leave until all of the work is complete. About a year ago, I became aware of a short story called Rappaccini's Daughter, written in the mid-1800s. In the story, Dr. Rappaccini's daughter, Beatrice, has become the toxic result of her mad scientist father's experiments with poison plants in his garden, where she is held captive and has become poisonous herself. And I started to see the connections between these two different stories, situations, where both are essentially held captive. In the AR experience, Beatrice is a farm worker. She appears as a volumetrically captured young girl by your side and acts as your guide through the interactive story. The AR experience is inside of a physical installation where abstract sculptures referencing plant forms are projection mapped with images that tell Beatrice's backstory, but also the story of pesticides and their global impact. On the right is a diagram that shows the audience flow through the installation, 4 different gardens, and the final location being an actual working water fountain, which is a nod back to the original story. The 5 locations are based on real-world pesticides, but are fictionalized in the experience, and Beatrice tells you all about that. She also instructs you to interact. So for example, she might suggest that you reach in and weed the garden. And as you pull on a plant, you would feel a sense of resistance through haptics. Or in another location, she may ask you to swipe away the toxic cloud, and through haptics again, you would feel perhaps a temperature change from warm to cool. Soundscapes at each of the different locations would be unique and provide a sense of urgency about the situation, and scents would be released into the air. For example, something going from a very chemical smell to something clean. I've been learning and experimenting with Google Tilt Brush as a method for sketching out concepts. But Google Tilt Brush drawings may very well become part of the 3D assets. I'm looking for someone to collaborate with me, a 3D artist, to make assets that would reference the handmade, drawing, and different types of paper textures. In addition to myself, my team currently includes Prash Thapan of Pariah Interactive. He is an amazing Unity developer who worked with me on All Her Bodies. Also, Will Cherry, very experienced, would come on as technical director, and Nocturnal, an immersive sound design team. I've also started discussions with WeArt and Metastage. WeArt is a company based in Milan, Italy. They produce this little ring, which allows for the haptic feedback that I've been describing. And then also Metastage for the volumetric capture. Their studio is based here in Los Angeles, and I've also had conversations with them. As mentioned, I'm looking for a 3D artist, also funds for a prototype. The project budget is hovering at around 200,000 currently. My timeline, I'm in research and development currently with the expectation or hope that the project would be completed in fall 23 for presentation at festivals and cultural centers. I'm also very much interested in reaching out to other types of audiences, perhaps through social VR. Also very interested in making an AR book on Beatrice's story, which of course is mocked up here. If you are interested in learning more about Beatrice, please contact me, and I thank you so much for your attention.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for this opportunity. My name is Alán González. I'm a Mexican filmmaker and the owner of Mariachi Films. I have more than 2 decades of experience as a producer of films and documentaries. And the last 4 years of my career, I have been working very focused on immersive projects using VR 360 technologies to create educational and social impact projects. So I'm going to present you my new project. I'm showing you my keynote and let's jump. So the C19 is an immersive historical global cinematography experience focused in capture the historical events that everybody around the globe we are living right now because the pandemic of COVID-19. This project have a principal piece of a documentary of 2 hours of length, divided in 4 chapters of 30 minutes. And the first chapter is focused in the history of cosmos in relationship with the humanity. The second chapter is focused in the pandemic of COVID-19 that we are experimenting right now. The third chapter, it's focused in capture the resilience experience that humanity is experimenting right now. And the fourth chapter, it's focused in capture the reflections of what we have to do as humanity to continue alive in the future in this planet. The documentary, it's a transmedia project. So we are producing in 3 different formats at the same time. We are, of course, shooting VR 360 3-dimensional ambisonic documentary. At the same time, traditional cinematography version. And we have a special unit of big format for still photography. So using these 3 technologies, we are going to create the complex project and the immersive experience. As I mentioned it, this is a global memory. So from the beginning of the design of the project, we decide to have co-producers around the globe. Right now we have 6 countries participating in this co-production. And to make this possible, we designed a methodology thinking in 2 ways, the editorial and the technical details. The final experience that will include the immersive footage, the traditional footage of cinematography, and the still photography of big format will be exhibited in a huge immersive experience in a quantum pavilion that it's an itinerant museum that we designed to mass immersive experience and VR 360 films to major audiences. This is an original design too. And the status of the project at this moment, we already start the shooting in Mexico. We are in our 2nd stage, even co-producing with United Nations. The next year, 2021, the goal is to start the global co-productions and start the post-production process. And next step on 2022 is to have our spheres premiere and screening in specialized festivals. And finally, on the year 2023, the plan is to have the global tour of this experience, visiting all the co-producer countries. I like to say that we already have experience producing this kind of complex projects and ambitious projects. My last experience and the experience of our team, it was the project S19. For that project, we create an art exhibition, and our major audiences was the childs. And I think the best results, it was on the testimonials that we filmed. And for example, Nayeli González, the child that is in this slide, she mentioned it after lived the experience of the S19 project that she wants to be a future architect because she wants to construct more safety houses and buildings for the family. So you can review our experience in the website of that project, s19project.org. And please be free to let us know your opinion. And we are looking for disruptive investors, co-producer countries, and funding, of course. And we really require XR teams. So feel free to contact me, and I hope you have a lot of recommendations for the project, for my personal ideas, and for the team. And I hope your safety, and thank you very much for this space, okay? See you soon, and thank you so much.
Haz planes de estudio para que el humano vuelva a integrarse al ecosistema del planeta.
El mundo está pidiendo a gritos parar.
Nos está enseñando a ser más humanos.
Esto es una realidad, que esto no va a acabar en 1 o 2 meses.
Hello everyone, I'm Gabriel Rock, engraving artist and director of the project CocotteMinute. Like an immersive theater but for VR, CocotteMinute is a mystery comedy, an experience set in an animated black and white woodcut printed world. It's produced by Le Bureau des Curiosités, co-produced with Picta Nouveau and financially supported by La Ville de Paris, Transmedia Fund and CNC. In this VR real-time narrative, you will be immersed for one night in a strange magician manor at the beginning of the 20th century. It's a sixth-of immersive and interactive experience. The user can go anytime through different areas by walking or using teleport. He/she will follow one main story, but a lot of other stories can be discovered in this manor. The format is 20 minutes by experience, but it's 20 minutes by room, with 6 rooms, so 120 minutes of content. CocotteMinute means pressure cooker in English. What is a pressure cooker? It's a cooking pan with a tightly fitting lid that allows food to cook quickly in steam under pressure. Transform the ingredient into 6 intriguing characters, the pan into a strange manner, add some pressure, a touch of mystery, mix together, and you will get a grating and burlesque behind closed-door comedy. You will be the witness of 5 personalities of the magic world invited one night in the manor of the supposed-to-be-dead magician Maestro Mephisto. But when they arrive, the guests are confused. The manor is plunged into darkness and no sign of the magician. The backstory. Maestro Mephisto has sold his soul to the devil in order to give amazing abilities in magic trick to his hidden brother Igor. But now he's dying and must pay his debt. Igor wants to save his soul by tricking the devil. The experience begins when the character tries to invoke Mephisto's ghost. The user appears, but no one seems to see you. Who are you? Are you Mephisto? By following the characters, you will looking for your identity. This discover may be your salvation, or not. The point of interest in CocotteMinute are visual. The user is pushed to change room when a character passes another room. But the point of interest are also sound. The spatial sound will allow you to hear what is happening out of the field and push the user to change rooms to discover what has made this or that noise. The decor is all made with woodcut prints manufactured in our own studio. I will show you now the prototype teaser of CocotteMinute. It's one room of the manor that we have already shown in different festivals like Laval Virtual, VRAM, or Lef Matadero. The animation in the project will be with pre-animated character. It's the same style than the decor with a toon shader added. The major inspiration is Robert Houdin for Illusionism Universe and Georges Méliès. The experience is a puzzle story like Sleep No More, while the narrative aspect is more like And the Unknown of Agatha Christie. We already for the production have public fund, but now we are looking for co-production with an audiovisual animation company, especially based in Luxembourg, Canada, or Belgium, in order to launch the production. At last but not least, we hope this experience to be replayable and shareable. The team of CocotteMinute is composed of creative team with Wade, TDNR, and I, a specialist of interactive script writing with Ronan Le Breton, and our beloved developer, Léonard from Lego. Thank you for your attention, and I will be waiting for your question. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Pieter de Cnudde and I will present to you Code Blue, a cinematic VR experience. I will take you through the story first, and then we will delve together into the bigger picture and into the details. Imagine walking into a room with half a dozen of hospital beds. The room reeks of that distinctive hospital smell, and each bed has a VR headset on it. A medical team escorts you to one of the beds and asks to lie down on it and put the VR headset on. You awake in a hospital room. You have no memories or no inclination of what happened to you. You look around trying to figure everything out. And you cannot interact with the doctors and nurses around you, but you can listen. And the television set in the room tells you that you are a public figure and that you are shot in the head. Now you're in a vegetative state. Family, doctors, police, they pass by your bed, unaware that you can hear them. So they speak bluntly around you. And the conversations between your mother, your wife, and your daughter trigger your mind. And as a prisoner of your own body, you float between reality and dreams, thoughts and memories, fear and regrets. What happened? And who shot you? The jigsaw of your past falls into place and you fall into blackness. Floating in a liquid of lights, you are unsure of what is next. A new beginning or a long-awaited ending? Code Blue will take the user on a trip into the mind of a patriarch who finds himself locked in his body. Unable to communicate with his environment, he is forced into a confrontation with the 3 women present in his life. The project was born out of my own fear of confrontation. And looking at the world today, the mail order of the last decade is being questioned with their behavior of avoidance and patterns of dominance, finally. So we'll take the user into an immersive trip into the mind and into the questions of life after death. What happens? And how does our past influence those answers to such questions? Using the classic whodunit setup, we attract the viewers to participate in a psychological and philosophical drama. When I started my first experience as a VR user, I had to think of the story of Martin Pistorius, a man stuck into his body, unable to communicate with the outside world. And I was thinking, I found that VR is actually a pretty good medium to fit those two stories together. One man who is afraid of confrontation and cannot run away, and another one who is stuck into his body. Combining these two, this is how Code Blue was created. To get an immersive effect of the locked-in state, it's useful to restrict the 360 degrees of the virtual reality medium. Also, by taking away the interactivity, that makes for quite a strong effect. We have the experience within the headset, but it doesn't stop there. We also have the experience outside of the headset. And by getting together the people who were on all of these hospital beds and let them talk about their emotions and feelings surrounding this experience, we can get a beautiful collection of testimonies of these people. Testimonies of people talking about what happens after life after death, but how does it feel to be restrained from reacting, interacting, communicating. So if we collect all of these testimonies, we can create an online digital community. And because of all of these aspects, the primary focus of distribution would be location-based. So festivals, cultural spaces, exhibitions. So we're looking to create the perfect crossing point of cinema and virtual reality. A cinematic VR experience of 20 minutes, shot live action and in English. The story is in two parts. One part is in the hospital room and the other part is in life after death, so to speak. So in the hospital room, we did already some tests with 360 cameras, but we noticed that for an optimal acting and blocking performance, we need to get closer. So we plan to use 180-degree cameras or maybe a modelized setup. Also, we want to work with a realistic dummy to have a very strong immersive effect. The sound would be centered and very small, and a continuous heartbeat would be present during the whole first part. Then we go to the second part, the life after death. There, we have no dummy, we have a 360 camera floating in a pool of water with lights, and we have no heartbeat. We free the mind of the user so that he can look around on the bed and be amazed by this whole aspect of life after death. We are a young team experienced in fiction content and storytelling. After studying law, which was very boring, and space studies, which was very interesting, I wrote and directed my own short. After that, I directed several music videos. This project, Code Blue, I'm developing together with the Belgium-based production company De Wereldvrede, which means world peace. The company is artist-centered and is run by both creators and producers. They produce premium content for all platforms, and their last short, Stephanie, premiered this year in the official selection of the Cannes Film Festival and the Toronto Film Festival. Their last TV series was an international series for Fox and Canal+. But it will be our first VR experience, and we're very honest about that. Hence, we are looking for strong and experienced members to enhance our team. We're still in early development. We're researching the locked-in state. We're also researching near-death experiences. And we have received script funding last July from our National Film Fund. The next step is building a team, writing the last version of the script, and applying for a development fund next March. Here at Stereopsia, we're looking at you guys to get some technical input, creative feedback, co-producers, co-financing, and distribution partners. So don't hesitate to contact us here at Stereopsia. We're available for you guys, and we hope to see you. Enjoy your stay.
Hello, My name is Christopher Morrison, and I am obsessed with human movement in performance. So much so that I have a degree in it. In fact, I also went on tour with Cirque du Soleil as a movement-based performer, and I helped them create their first immersive theatrical experience. I'm a lifelong martial artist, having studied 7 different forms from 3 different cultures, and I also happen to be an award-winning fight choreographer and stunt guy. Yes, you can win awards for pretending to punch people in the face. I have one. I'm also a lifelong geek as well, and I'm a genre content storyteller. Proud to say I'm just produced and distributed in the realms of VR, video games, film, and television. Also very proud to say that 2 years ago we co-won this Pitch Fest, as well with my genre experience, The Werewolf Experience, which is in production now. This is Drunk Zombie Duelists, of which I am the writer, director, and producer of, and DZD is a genre-bending 360 volumetric capture series that blends horror, comedy, and world-class fights. Our story is of Jean and Pierre, who are 2 world-class duelists at the end of the 17th century and best friends, and they have their own falling out and a duel in a forest, and in that duel, Pierre kills Jean. So Pierre goes back out into the world for 10 years, and 10 years to the day of murdering his best friend, he's busy getting drunk, and he finds himself back at the spot where he killed his friend, and sure enough, Jean's body is there, and it hasn't decomposed, and more importantly, it wakes up. They finish off the bottle of wine that Pierre has with him. They have another falling out, and in that duel, Jean kills Pierre, and Jean goes back out into the world for 10 years. Jean being a little quicker on the uptick than Pierre, he ends up getting pulled back into the forest this time, but with a crate of wine. And sure enough, when his best friend wakes up, they get drunk again and discovered that their duels are happening in the cursed forest of Hollerbois, when they cannot leave the forest until they fight the duel, and one of them is dead. So the cycle is one of them gets to go out into the world for 10 years, the other stays dead in the forest for 10 years, and this happens and the series follows them over the course of 250 years of these events, and it all takes place in this forest. So who are our characters? Pierre is overbrimming with emotions, confidence, and skill. He's careless of danger to himself or others. And we're proud to say that we have cast world-class swordsman, HEMA expert, and trans man Samantha Swords to play the role. Jean is a true dandy who is deadly with his tongue and his blade, and he enjoys the banter a little bit more than the fight, and he will eventually discover his love for Pierre over the series, even as Pierre becomes more misanthropic due to his immortality. And to that end, we've cast world-class sword fighter and HAMA expert, historical African martial arts, Damon Stith, to play the role. Again, we're going to follow this story over 250 years. The season is 5 episodes. Each episode is 5 to 7 minutes long and only takes place in that one location. Now, I'm sure you recognize this. This is obviously bullet time from The Matrix. I'm also sure you remember what happened when this movie dropped. Everybody was chasing this. It reset action in all of cinema. We have a groundbreaking industry challenge ahead of us, including a very big opportunity here with DZD. Since we are going to be doing all the fights in 6 DOF volumetric capture, that means the audience can be anywhere at any time. We can't rely on the same old cinematic tricks of forced perspectives and camera angles to tell our fight story. So to solve this problem, we are very proud to say that we have got funding for our proof of concept from F&R Smart Venue out of the Netherlands. The Netherlands government has been kind enough to pay for this POC, being run through F&R, who is partnered with 4DR Studios. And because it's such an interesting, groundbreaking challenge, we were able to attract Media Monks, one of the world's largest digital marketing agencies, to be our backbone for the POC. So another challenge we face is raising the accuracy of the fighting. Because of the 6 DOF and because the audience can be anywhere, we cannot rely on the old stunt tricks. And what you're witnessing right now is highly regarded as one of the best sword fights ever put to cinema in terms of realism. But even in this, you can see they have editing and they rely on cinema to tell the story. We won't have that. The audience can be anywhere. So to solve this problem, we need to rely on HEMA, Historical European Martial Arts. And these images that you are now seeing are lifted from actual fight manuals people learn to train, to fight, and to kill out of anywhere between the 11th and the 17th century. I have training in it, as do both of our actors, so that we can raise the level of accuracy and really form a new cinematic language for fighting inside Drunk Zombie Duelists. We have a rock-solid distribution plan with a few outlets that may surprise you. Obviously, we will be headed to the bigger film festivals. Also, we've obviously got the genre fans to appease, and we will be headed to those film festivals. But beyond that, the music festival circuit, and metal fans are big crossover with genre fans, so we'll be at the metal festivals. Where we will also be is at the video game and the tabletop gaming events as well. Now, we obviously will be be a 6DoF high-end experience. Will be available on all the bigger platforms that have access to that tech, but we are going to export a flat version so that everybody can watch it on whatever VR headset they have at home. And we're also going to go reach into the social VR space. We're going to take the fights, the 6DoF fights, and put them in social VR and run what I call a digital dojo, where myself and the two actors will be explaining the fights and also maybe even teaching some HEMA and some HAMA concepts inside social VR and driving those people to watch the series. To sum up, Drunk Zombie Duelists appears to be just a fun genre piece about drunk zombies fighting. But really what we're doing is we're telling the story, a very emotional story, of a 250-year friendship that flourishes, stagnates, and turns into something quite amazing. We are also very proud in our representation of our actors to fight the insidious whitewashing of history, and we have this glorious challenge to reset all of action in 360 with this piece. So, we are looking for $160,000 to go into production. We're looking for producers, co-production partners, and or production companies. I'd love to talk to you at any time about Drunk Zombie Duelists.
So hi everybody, my name is Rodolfo Lissia, and I'm the co-director and co-producer of the WebXR environmental project, Nexus. A bit more about the background of the work. So we wanted to make a piece around sustainability, but sustainability actually is a difficult concept to understand. We decided to use the metaphor of the Nexus, which is a concept used by the United Nations to study the impacts of the integrated impacts of human activities, by taking into account the correlation and interactions between water, food, and energy. So we decided to translate this very complex thematic into something that could be easily understandable and engaging for the general public. So the project can be divided into two main parts. The first one is a VR cinematic experience. It will be an animated fable that will introduce the audience to the concept of the documentary. And the second part will be an interactive WebXR world map, which will provide, let's say, the more factual information. That's why we define the project as a docufiction. And here, the important thing is that we really wanted to have a strong narrative component in the project, but we see it as a seamless experience. So the user will flow between the two parts seamlessly. But let's go into the story. We are in an aspirational future where humanity has reached sustainability, and we have two main characters, Jackson and his grandma. She's telling him the story of humanity and how it developed until it found itself on the verge of environmental destruction through climate change. And that's when humanity understood there was something more they could do, and that's where the idea and the philosophy of the Nexus comes into play. She's telling her story through her generational, which is a necklace, which is able to project locations around Jackson and the viewer. So the idea is that the viewer will follow the two characters in this hopeful story of humanity. And that's why we also think, we think that VR is the perfect technology to immerse the viewer into the story and make him understand and care about the topic of the whole project. The story will be in animation. We are thinking about using Quill. As I said, the idea is really to draw the audience into the heart of the documentary. After that, we'll see a transition to the interactive world map. And here is where let's say the more factual information comes in. We've been researching more than 10 locations together with Imperial College London. And the user will have the chance to roam around the Earth and select these 10 places and go there and explore more. All of these will be inside the narration of the grandma, so there will be an emotional connection with what the user has seen before. And here you can see some of the places we're going to show through our in the interactive world map. A bit about the audience and the distribution. So we're planning to use and to exploit the potential of WebXR, which can be easily shareable and can be easily accessible by any device. And we're also planning a social impact campaign together with impact producers such as Together Films to make sure that we're gonna reach the best in the best way possible our audience and reach the maximum impact we can have. The idea is to have first an extensive online release together with our partners and media partners, as well as having on-site exhibitions at environmental conferences and events, such as the UN COP26 that will be present next year, always together with our partners. There's also the potential to use our project as an educational tool by partnering with educational institutions. You can see here some of our partners, some of them already mentioned before. We're also in discussion with very high-level institutions which are very interested in our project, such as the several departments of United Nations. We're talking with the Water Department and the Food Department, and they see our project as a public engagement tool of their activities. So that's why they're very looking into it. A bit more about the team. Myself, I have a background in filmmaking and environmental science. I've also completed a degree at Imperial College London. And Michael Markman is the other co-director. He's been working as a specialist XR designer for the past 6 years between Europe and the US. The main producer is Nexus Vision, which is a non-profit organization I'm also part of, but we're also collaborating with some other internationally acclaimed VR studios, as well as Imperial College London regarding the scientific research. Regarding the project, so as I said, we've researched the topic for over a year together with Imperial. We've confirmed the first strategic partnerships, and we also received the first 15K investment from Tedworth Charitable Trust in order to develop the prototype of the WebXR map, which is available at the moment. And we've done this by participating also in the Oculus Launchpad program. At the moment, we are looking to finance the whole project, and we are specifically looking for financiers, co-producers, or potential distributors. In summary, our idea is really to make an impactful project that can tell a story about sustainability in an innovative way, using an innovative technology, and engage an audience that might not be otherwise interested in this kind of topic. So if you feel like you want to be part of our Nexus journey, please don't hesitate to reach out to me, get in touch, and ask any questions. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for being in this virtual space with us and for your interest in our pitch. Maddie, one of our producers, and myself, Fabian, the director, will give you a brief introduction into the project entitled People to People. The point of departure of People to People is the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, one of the most intractable conflicts on this planet. Unfortunately, until today, all peace-building efforts which are primarily based on the political and institutional level have ultimately failed. Peace builders and peace negotiators therefore demand to shift the focus to peace-building efforts on the grassroots level. They say peace can only be made and maintained when it happens between individual people. What sounds good in theory is quite complicated in practice. Since 2000, Israelis and Palestinians are separated by a physical wall, which makes it nearly impossible to meet and to get to know each other. Additionally, on both sides, people are filled with prejudice and hatred, which means Israelis and Palestinians are further separated by mental walls. The question that this situation bears in order to facilitate a reconciliation process on the grassroots level is how to overcome both the physical and the mental walls separating Israelis and Palestinians. With People to People, we try to seek an answer to this question by using the art technology and the empathetic and storytelling potential of the medium film in order to create a safe space which allows Israelis as well as Palestinians to meet the respective other. In short, we want to create a collection of 360 documentaries portraying the lives of individual Palestinians and Israelis in order to enable them to immerse themselves into the stories, thoughts, fears, and beliefs of those living on the other side of the separation wall. In 2019, we were lucky to secure some research and development funding and created 6 short prototype documentaries through further support of some local peace building NGOs that we know and the camera manufacturer Insta360. Arab from the West Bank is one of our protagonists. In each film, we try to carve out similarities as well as differences between the two people, which is necessary to instigate empathy among the audience. Therefore, Arab, for example, is pictured in different surroundings and situations. Situations that might be familiar to Israelis and situations that are more alien to Israelis. Since prototyping people to people, we're also collaborating with the Virtual Reality Lab for Conflict Research at IDC University in Tel Aviv, in order to find out how much impact our documentaries really have on individual recipients, in order to further improve the use of the VR technology and the narrative of the concept. The first tests were beyond our expectations. Watching the portrait of Arab, for example, instigated a high level of empathy, understanding, and hope within the Israeli audience.
Hi everyone, I'm Maddie. So we wanted to continue our development and get feedback from professionals in the film and VR market space, as well as public audiences outside of Israel and Palestine. So we experimented with the different pairings and viewing experiences possible with the Cannes XR Development Showcase, as well as BFI LFF Expanded in their virtual and public viewing space, among others. So for distribution, we are looking at 4 different possibilities. The top 2 would be individual at-home experiences, which would be more accessible to private people. And then below would be shared experiences for the general public in exhibition spaces. And our main focus would be the non-commercial distribution aspect, because this project is a peace-building tool that we want to be able to distribute free and accessibly to the public in Israel and Palestine. So this would be through an app that would be free for them, as well as a roadshow campaign. And then the other side would be the commercial distribution, which would be internationally in festivals, museums, and also on educational platforms. So right now we have about 40% of our funding in place, and the full-scale production would be shooting an additional 20 portraits, 10 on each side, in late 2021 or early 2022. And our budget is around €500,000 for that. So right now we're looking for collaborators and financiers who would want to come on and collaborate with us in exploring this new potential of VR as a peace-building tool, and the possibility of using VR as an interactive space, which is becoming more and more necessary as we've seen in this past year. So thank you so much for having us here at Stereopsia, and feel free to reach out if you have any questions, and we're looking forward to hearing from you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Charlie and I'm the director of Soulsearchers, an interactive animated VR. It's a whodunit where the spaceship Digger invites you to go on an intergalactic adventure to solve crimes. It's an experience divided into 2 parts. It's a social VR because you come together as avatars with your friends or other people to discuss who the culprit of a crime might be. But to discover this culprit, you have to go into first-person perspectives of the witnesses of the crime. The experience starts with 3 or more players in the virtual meeting room where Digger will give you your mission. This mission takes place on the planet Prisma, a planet where everybody is literally a color. Their hair, their skin, their eyes, it has a color. But sadly, some time ago, everybody lost their color. They all turned gray. What your mission is to find who patient 0 might be. Who was the first person who lost their color? These are the 3 suspects. They might be the ones who caused it, or who might have seen who the first person was. So the experience timeline starts with the intro, where you see what you get to know what your mission is. And then you go, with everybody, you go into first-person perspectives of the different characters. The spaceship digger kind of explains to you why he shows this first, why he might show this later. And in between the experiences, you get to talk with your other participants on who might be the one that is patient zero. But sadly, it's kind of hard to discover. So at the end, you can the people can choose to have an experience one more time. After that, they have to make a final decision. During the experiences, there are multiple occasions where it's interactive. You can touch objects in the social VR part and the black part. And in the first person perspectives, you can find different objects. So if you've seen them, it might give you hints if you are able to interact with them or click on them. To be very clear, in the first person perspective, you can't walk around as this person. You're stuck to what you see and what the particular character experiences. So the key features of this project is it's a 50-minute animated interactive VR. It's currently in the development stage. We received script funding from our Flemish Audiovisual Fund. We're looking into 12 and 16-year-olds as our target group, but we're doing a lot of research currently to make sure this is the correct target group. We are now partnering with the animation studio The Fridge in Brussels to look into how to make this. For the distribution, we're looking at partnering with VR parks. You could also play it at home as an alternative to board game night, which in COVID might be very handy if you're not together with your family. At companies, because as a team building, it might prove very useful because a lot of communication comes handy to solve the crime. And at cinema complexes, because the 50 minutes is quite handy for people if they want to quickly see something before they go into their cinema experience. At the moment, we're looking for financial partners, institutions to partner with, sponsors and outreach partners, but also because we're in a development stage, story feedback, because we want to look into ways of making this more interactive, ways of making the game replayable, so we can offer a good experience to our viewers. Thank you for your time, and I hope to hear from you soon. You can reach my producer, Maïté, or me at the following email addresses. Thank you. Bye.
Hi, I'm Valentina Paggiarin, and I am the writer and creative director of The Empathy Machine. I've always been fascinated by automata, robots, and artificial intelligence. In fact, in 2017, together with my production company, Hive Division, we developed and created a short film, a cinematic 360 experience called Dreams of Blue, which went all around the world in many festivals, and in 2019 was awarded a Lumiere Award at Stereopsia. I decided to continue my research and exploration of artificial intelligence. And even if my inspirations are mainly fictional ones, this time I want to work with a real artificial intelligence on something that is very, very real, which are emotions. Emotions are a great part of our life, and they could be very important for our personal, working, and creative life. Yet we tend to ignore them, repress them, overlook them, and this way we lose a lot of potential. My idea is to create the empathy machine to face this problem. But what is the empathy machine? The empathy machine is Zara, an artificial intelligence whose goal is to understand and process human emotion. Her final objective is to be able to co-create with the users original visual immersive experiences to explore and help user cope and learn more about their emotions. The experiences that Zara will create will be different each time because they will depend on the user's emotional state and also on Zara's training. The user experience will be divided into 3 stages. In the first one, Zara will interact and cooperate with the user to understand their emotion. And this interaction will happen in a playful and cooperative way through the use of word, images, analogies, and other similar tools. Then Zara will evaluate this emotion and find the right tools that we provided her with to create the emotional immersive environment. Those environments will look something like this. We want to aim for a simple graphic that yet will be of impact and that will allow our artificial intelligence to have a lot of tools to create different types of situations. We can have real environments, we can have abstract ones, and the artificial intelligence will also apply different shaders and different visual treatments to the environments to change their mood according to the emotion that she wants to recreate. The user will be immersed in a 2-minute experience that will also feature procedural music and immersive sound, and that will be deeply emotional. In the third stage, Zara will collect and compare the data to learn and to make a better performance in the next session. This project will be interesting for the user and will be easy to access and easy to use, but will imply a lot of very complex technology and structures. We want to work with a real artificial intelligence, and we want that her progression is based on the interaction with the real users. We will teach her something, but the real training will happen in the interaction with users. We have psychological basis behind this work, but it won't be a medical application. It will be an artistic and experimental one. And the cooperation between the user and the artificial intelligence will help the user feel empowered and feel more creative and explore their creative potential too. We will make this experience available on all major headsets to reach the highest number of people, especially for training purposes, for the AI training. And we will also create a 2D version to broaden the training phase target. There will be artistic collaboration with different artists so that we can give the right visual tools to the artificial intelligence. And this will be an online experience because we want to incentivize multiplayer interaction and create a shared emotion database so that people can invite and host other users inside their emotions and also visit other people's emotions. And we will be able to keep track of the evolution of Zara's learning and training. Since we have already worked on XR and VR project, we have the artistic and technical skills to develop this project. We are working on the game Bible, and we will produce a demo to make understand the visual effect and impact that we want to have and that we want Zara to reproduce. We are looking for co-producers or a co-production company that will accompany us in this journey, for new team members that help us in specific areas of the project, and of course for funds and distribution strategies. I thank you for your attention, and if you want to help us make the empathy machine come true, I'm available for your questions. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Anna Zimhart, here with Lauren Hayes, and together we are the writers of the project called Memtek. We are creators with a performance background in immersive theater and live experiential marketing, making the pivot to digital entertainment. We don't need to tell you that COVID-19 drastically changed the landscape of live performance as we know it when our entire industry disappeared overnight. So we began to ask ourselves, is there a way to recreate the intimacy of live immersive theater without the limits of physical location? More specifically, how can we scale the things we love about immersive theater, the feeling of being dropped in another world, the community, the reactivity and human connection, to a virtual production? This led to Memtek. Memtek is a sci-fi thriller where neon noir meets retrofuturism, a reimagined version of our not-so-distant future through the lens of our past. In Memtek, human memories can be digitized via a small neural implant that plugs directly into your brain. With this implant, you are given the ability to replay, edit, and snooze your very own personal memories. 3 factions war for control over this new technology and are attempting to enlist your help. Whose side will you choose? Perhaps it will be Dr. Cassandra Morton, a trust fund prodigy and self-described futurist. Doc believes progress is its own endgame, but also maintains that objective supervision by licensed professionals is the only thing keeping half the world from seizing in their office chairs by lunch. You and she could be the only ones standing between patients and back alley distributors like CP who are effectively mutilating desperate people to make an extra buck. Speaking of CP, CP is the ideological biohacker with a death wish who doesn't trust companies, doctors, or governments. They intend to expose Memtek and all its dirty laundry, claiming knowledge of IP theft, secret backup facilities, and the gross misuse of user data to what end? Perhaps you want to take down the system and help CP kick off the transhumanist revolution. Or maybe they're both a little too self-interested for you, and instead you find yourself drawn to mysterious Andy, an artist with a deep personal connection to the concept of memory preservation, who seems to have been unluckily caught in a crossfire. Whatever happened, and it's certainly up for debate, Andy has gone missing, and so has a year's worth of her memory. When CP shows up with a Shakespearean tale of vengeance and abuse, inexplicable fragments from her old life begin to trickle back in. Andy needs your help. Can you put Humpty Dumpty back together again? Memtek is an immersive mixed media piece which combines real-time character interactions, puzzling, and cinematic VR. To give you an idea of the format of our episodes, here is a brief walkthrough of the main components in our pilot episode, Welcome to Memtek. Prior to the show, you will receive an email inviting you to schedule an appointment for your very own consultation at Memtek. A link will take you to the company website where you will communicate with a live actor who is a receptionist at Memtek. At this point, you will make a choice. To maintain accessibility, we will offer 2 experience options. 1, connect to your VR headset, or 2, continue via webpage. In the second portion of the show, you are taken to the Memtek lobby, a mid-century styled waiting room with neon accents. A retro television will jump to life and Doc materializes on stage in volumetric capture, a lifelike hologram talking to an audience, but also directly to you. Suddenly, you are plopped right in the middle of a soldier's traumatic mem or memory simulation playing out in 360 cinematic VR. In the third portion of the show, it is time for your appointment. It will include a patient calibration, a series of odd images, ASMR, and directed physical movement, as well as an in-depth and unsettling personal interview while strapped into the infamous memory encoding machine. But suddenly, in the middle of your appointment, your feed is interrupted, hacked, and you're flying through cyberspace. A flat video screen pops up as a video chat with CP's voice in your ear. They give you a warning and also a secret mission. After the mission, you receive a text message from CP asking you to join their cause and the rest of the show. Season 1 of Memtek will consist of 12 episodes that play out as 3 episodes per week for the duration of 1 month. 1 episode per week will be a cinematic main event like the pilot episode. The second will give players the opportunity to chat privately with characters within the world of the story. The third will bring together all players to solve puzzles and watch climactic scenes play out between characters in real time. This is a user-centered experience where players choose at which level they wish to engage. Perhaps you'll be a deep diver. This player wants full immersion. They have signed the blood oath and are reporting for duty. From scheduled one-on-one character interactions to exploring between show deliverables, they take every opportunity to engage. Or you could be a snorkeler. This player enjoys diving in, but also occasionally coming up for air. They may choose to engage with certain activities, but not others, and will always have access to rewatch any episodes they may have missed. Or maybe you're a voyeur. This player enjoys watching the action from the boat. They may choose to engage in some activities, but mostly come to kick their feet back and enjoy the show. They tune in each week to watch this sci-fi thriller full of rich characters and meaty plot lines. Lauren and I met at 5 a.m. on a houseboat when we were both hired by Amazon to collaborate on live immersive experiences at San Diego Comic-Con. We have been making weird art together ever since. We want to make sure live performance survives and thrives in a time where we are all experiencing the aftermath of a worldwide pandemic. We see a path forward with the virtual reality platform and believe that we have a specialty in immersive entertainment and dance that has not yet been fully utilized in VR experiences and other digital content. Our short-term goal is to acquire funding to shoot our pilot episode. Early in the development stage, we are also looking to add more members to our team, including an experienced VR director and producing partners. Thank you, and we look forward to meeting you.
Hi, I'm Nathalie Mathe, the creator and director of Wallada. My previous VR film, U-Turn, was exploring gender discrimination in a startup from 2 different perspectives. It receives international acclaim at major film festivals and several VR awards. It has become a case study in a book on VR storytelling too. So earlier in my career, I directed short documentaries and animation films and worked on the VFX industry for 15 years. So Wallada is an experience of creativity and resilience. We take you on a creative journey into the brilliant civilization of Moorish Andalusia, and you will discover the fascinating life of Princess Wallada, one of the most famous poetess, lover, and free spirit of her time. She was a very independent woman who lived 1,000 years ago during the era of the Islamic Caliphate in Spain, which lasted for 700 years. She was the daughter of the last Caliph of Cordoba. And when she was 17, the Caliphate started to collapse and there were constant civil wars all through her life. So she had to reinvent who she was many times in order to survive. Let me show you a short video of the current prototype, the entry point into the experience.
I have lived 1,000 deaths and reinvented myself 1,000 times. I am Wallada, Andalusian princess. In my veins flows the blood of 20 Umayyad caliphs. I carry high my forehead and follow my own path. By God, I deserve nothing less than glory.
So as a participant, you uncover key scenes of Wallada's life by exploring the monuments where she lived that are part of her family legacy, like the Great Mosque of Cordoba and the library of 400,000 books. We use spatial sound, scanned 3D photogrammetry, and volumetric video for the actors. After each trauma, you lose control and the visual style becomes much more graphic. Wallada becomes your guide and you recover by creating beautiful Moorish art and gardens and working with her to reinvent the next chapter of her life. For example, after a family massacre, she opened the first literary salon in Europe, which attracted intellectuals and poets from all religions. And she fell in love with the grand poet Ibn Zedun, and their tumultuous love story became a legend, which is still alive today, which is the sculpture that you saw at the beginning of the video. This experience embodies Al-Andalus spirit of cultural hybridation. We mix Arabic architecture, gardens, calligraphy with original poems and contemporary artists singing Arab flamenco song. In terms of the format, it's a room scale experience for high-end headsets, about 20 minutes long. We are going to first distribute it into cultural spaces. We have already talked to a few of them, and then to online VR stores. For the team, we have a professional calligraphic artist who has some experience with VR already, a medieval Arab poetry scholar, an experienced VR developer, and also 2 solid sound designers that we worked with before. We are currently in development. We got a grant, originally a writing grant from the CNC in France. We are building the VR prototype now, and we are seeking funding, more funding, 25K for the prototype and 325K for the full production. We are looking for partners who want to be involved in this beautiful experience. It encourages, everyone to reinvent their life positively through artistic creativity and an inspiring story which has never been told before. And we believe that this is even more relevant today to face the global trauma that we are all experiencing. Thank you so much.